So I would like to talk a little bit about how we can enhance student engagement in not just statistics, but in also other courses, but definitely I will concentrate on statistics. I would like to tell a little bit about project sponsorship and timeline, because especially sponsorship is quite important. Also touch upon real and virtual environments and how they differ and their pros and cons. Then I will take you to the islands, hopefully, if I can switch between those applications. Then I would like to look at what students can learn from the islands that they cannot learn from books, or they usually don't learn from books. Also, touch upon student reactions, engagement, enhanced experience, and take some questions at the end. So, project was sponsored by Kettle, our Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning, and it started a long time ago, at around 2016. I'm coming from Flint, and we are a college town. We have 4 institutions of higher ed here in Flint: Baker College of Flint, us, Kettering University, Mott Community College, and U of M Flint. So my and my colleagues' early attempts, and perhaps many people went through this stage, was to assign student projects in statistics courses based on some real data. And I remember discussing things like this with my colleagues, who would say, well, just take cars because you are a mechanical engineering school. Take cars, fuel consumption versus weight. Or let students record the time they need from when they wake up until they arrive in class. Okay, things like that. But this specific project that started in 2016, we faculty from four institutions and across these different disciplines. There was a biology professor, communications, ethics, math people like me. We realized that if we want to have a common project for all of us, we need to make our approach, our data, relevant to all students, regardless of the students of biology or mathematics or whatever. And at that time in 2016, perhaps everybody knows, perhaps not, Flint water crisis started. So that was just the right project, just the right data, and just the right set of problems for us. And what we all realized, and that was really stressed throughout our collaboration, that real world is beautiful. Yes, we want real world, and we want students to collaborate across disciplines and in class. But the most important part of the whole project was that there was a serious problem unfolding right around them, and they were all involved. Later on, I graduated from this stage, sort of graduated, of course not, I'm still there, but I looked at a different approach of not just getting the data from somewhere, but actually designing experiments and collecting data during 10, we have actually 11 weeks, 10 and a half. And even 15 weeks, that's a short period of time. So using real environments and crafting engaging assignments. So the literature says that features of learning experience likely to enhance student learning is collaboration, open-ended exploration, problem-based learning in real-life scenarios. Our example involves all 4 institutions, and it was undertaken during the height of Flint water crisis, touching lives of the entire community. So every student really was involved in this environment. The project asked students to apply class content to this problem unfolding around them and offered some opportunity to collaborate in classroom, and I admit not so much with peers across disciplines. Okay, that's difficult. To collaborate between institutions is even more difficult. So we had, as I said, students in biology, liberal studies, ethics class, communications, statistics. Most data, however, were provided by instructors. Only some information was obtained by students. Now, this model can be replicated, but here is where the sponsorship comes from. It takes tremendous amount of time to coordinate those efforts between disciplines, instructors, institutions, fields of study. Yes, we went through this, and I will show how students reacted. And of course, it can be replicated. If you are in Midwest, perhaps not just Midwest, but PFAS contamination now was, at least, right, not so long ago, a big issue. Addiction, opioids, right, student deaths. There is always something unfolding that can be used. So these are students' reactions, and they were extremely positive. When we ask about enhanced learning, engagement, quality of class, even empowerment, because students, they try to do something about this crisis. Collaboration, as I said, not so much. It is extremely difficult to coordinate. So the islands are coming from because it's a virtual environment designed by Bulmer and Hyladen in University of Queensland in Australia. And it provides very rich environment for data collection. It's just data collection, nothing else. But it's not data collection because the data is there. Students actually can design experiments and obtain data from either the environment or inhabitants. So the inhabitants live on 3 islands, as you can see, 3 islands, right? Their lives actually follow some mathematical population models. They have gender, habits, addictions, hobbies, heights, weights, vitals. They can tell the truth or lie. They will perform designed tasks like running a marathon, can become sick and recover or even die during the process. They marry, have kids, pets, jobs, income. So if you think about involving the econ, here it is, income. They move between villages so they can disappear. You have to track them down. So pretty much like in real world. And you have to ask each individual for consent, which they can refuse. So let's go visit. Now, here is the tricky part. I need to switch between this screen and my other application. Let's go visit the islands. If you will not see the islands, please let me know, because,
we can see the islands on the right side of the screen.
There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see the islands very well or not?
I mean, the picture of the island we can see.
Okay, if not, let me change. Let me share it this way and see if now it's better.
Yeah, it's much better.
Okay, great. So actually, this is year 310 in the islands. You can see this here, day 21st of this year, and it's fall. It's fall season there. Let's start with visitor center in the islands. So it's welcome to the islands. Okay, there is 300 years of history. So you can read some news, but also there are guides, okay, how to get started, how to collect data, what to do, and credits for creators of this environment. Let's go back and Let's go to Arcadia. And let me see, I need to go to houses at around 50. Here is a museum. Every village has a museum, maybe not every, but where you can read about who curates that museum, and you can actually visit those individuals, but also you can look at some exhibits in that museum. There is an academy on the islands where you can study past, essentially you can read proceedings of the Islands Academy. And that's very important if you want to introduce islands to students, because they can see the quality of papers that you might want to require from them. So this is roughly what I ask students to do, okay? I want background of their research, so they have to look at some literature, aims, method, how they collect data, participants, okay? And then, of course, measurements and procedures, analysis, okay, results, and finally, discussion and conclusions, and at the end, references to real literature. So that sets the standard for their presentation. It's kind of scientific writing. Okay, let's actually visit somebody. I will go to this city or village, Yobiko, and let me visit house number 21. I chose 21 because there is a nice family living. So let's see how it works, okay? I want to talk to Noah. So Noah has a pet and has not completed any tasks yet. If I try to interview Noah, he's unable to chat until I have obtained a consent. So under tasks, I have to obtain consent from Noah. Unfortunately, he has declined. So I am unlucky. Let me try if I can get another person in this town. Let me go to house now, because perhaps nobody else wants to give consent in this household. Let me go to house 24. There's another nice family. Let's talk to Christina. Okay, I'll obtain consent from Christina. Yes. So here is what I can do with Christina. I can ask her to do a survey. I can look at some documents. I can ask her about physiology. So this is what I would like to do. Let me measure her pulse. So this takes time. As you see, this heart slowly fills up, but I can leave Christina and I can go elsewhere, and I can look at some other participants. I can ask other participants to do something, but Christina is nearly done. So let's stay with her for a sec. Once he is done, okay, in her history, I will see that her pulse is 73. I can ask her now to exercise. Let's say, let her jump for 30 seconds. So now she's exercising. It will take 30 seconds. So let me talk about time in the islands. To study long-term projects, to have long-term projects, one real day is, I think, 21 days in the islands. 1 week, I think, is 1 season in the islands, or maybe 1 year in the islands. I can't remember exactly. So during a term of 10 to 15 weeks, you have a good few years on the islands. But when it comes to individual tasks, time is running in the same way. So it took her 30 seconds. So she did that. And we can come back, of course, and study her physiology again and take her pulse again. And of course, we expect this pulse to go up, and it will. Sometimes it is pretty predictable, sometimes it's not. So as you can see, there is a lot of things you can ask your islanders to do. Okay. So this is a quick measurement, but here is the history. It went up. If we wait, it will come down, okay? All right, so let me leave the islands now, and let's go back to our main presentation. So again, let me do new share, I think. Yes, new share. So that you can see the entire screen nicely. Okay. There are also records in town halls where you can read about births, deaths, reason for death, and marriages and other, you can get other information. So what should students learn? So the GAIS college report recommendations we know is asking us to teach statistics as an investigative process. Okay, that's what we want. As an investigative process. Sorry, okay. Also give students multivariable thinking. I think islands help us focus on conceptual understanding, integrate real data, foster active learning, and use technology to explore concepts and analyze data. And it's good to use frequent assessments to improve and evaluate students' learning. So they can learn about ethics in statistical research. They will formulate their own questions, design their own experiments, collect data just by themselves, record them and analyze, organize and analyze, arrive at some conclusions. Most research questions involve multiple factors, so here's this multivariate component. And most research will not lead to a conclusion. So there is avoidance of confirmation bias. Most research questions will not be confirmed. I think I have about two minutes left.
Yes.
Okay, let me bring some teachable moments from my practice, okay? So collecting data, one team wrote this: taking every other house would provide a simple random sample of the entire island. Another team followed this logic and said every third house would be better. So that gives me a chance to discuss systematic sampling and explain that it reduces complexity of data collection in the field, but may introduce unintended biases. This team of students observed that they can use phones or internet-based surveys. But again, even this, it samples only those with phone or internet. That gives me a chance to discuss non-sampling errors, omission, duplication, mistakes in reporting, and things like that. The most interesting discussion I had with my students was about this design. So the study was to look at lung cancer and smoking, and to take two groups. Control would be told to continue smoking as they have for all their life for the next year, and the experimental group will stop. So this is directly against Nuremberg Code, no harm. But I had a very long discussion with students, and I had to eventually I eventually brought this example of Takata, and I said, well, how about me telling you to drive with Takata airbags for next 5 years? Also, the experimental group would be instructed to never smoke again. Well, good luck with that. So, so I think those two examples demonstrate how this interaction with students and the opportunity for them to actually perform experiments and design their own studies helps in explaining concepts of statistics. So I will stop right here. Thank you.
Let's thank our speaker. So any questions, please?
I have a question. Thank you so much for introducing us to this, the islands, okay? And if one wants to visit the islands, would we need to set up an account? Or
Actually,
or is it open to anyone?
It is open to anyone, and I think I provided a link.
Yeah, I saw the link, but I was just wondering if
so if you just go to this link, you will get into the islands. But there is a little to it. There is a little island called Learner, where you have access as an instructor and you can set up your class. For this, if you go to this website, it will tell you what to do. It will tell you send email to somebody, and this set up your account. And it's this is in University of Minnesota. It's a mirror website of the of this website in Australia.
So as a follow-up of that question, I was thinking, do you have to take any permission to get this data from individual houses, that if you feel like, or they will be willing to give their data if you just show up?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the question very well.
So that you are going to get the data from the individual houses.
Yes.
So do you have to get any permission from anywhere, or just I can just go and not?
No, just the island has to consent.
Oh, okay.
You essentially you're a researcher who is allowed to go into the islands and do your research.
So do you have to go like in person, or you can just get it over internet, or phone, or other thing?
Oh, this is all virtual. I just went to
virtual.
the islands.
Virtual, yeah.
Virtual island.
I just went to the islands and collected already 2 data points, right? Pulse before and after 30 seconds of jumping. So I have 2 data points already.
So any more questions, please? So if we do not have, then let's congratulate our speaker, and let's thank our speaker again.